Hi everybody, I'm Angelia. Welcome back to Read and Reread. We've come around to Friday again, and I'm going to review my week in reading and other little odds and ends. So it is well and truly hot here in Texas, and if I talk about that like as a weekly report, I'll probably be saying it until Thanksgiving because that's how we roll here in Texas. But it is really hot, which to me is ideal reading conditions indoors. Can just while away hours and entire afternoons just sitting here in the library reading. So that works for me, along with some iced tea. We try to watch some shows in the evening. We watched the part of Stranger Things that already came out, but we waiting for the rest of it. And I'm way more into that than Steven is, so my daughter and I talk about it, and I send her conspiracy theories about that. Then we watched a political show called Borgen, Power and Glory that was Danish, and I guess it was a follow-up to a show that was on about 10 years ago that we never saw, but it was kind of about power and women in high positions and this conflict about some oil that was found in Greenland, and we learned of some things about the politics of Denmark and Greenland. So it was totally unexpected show to watch. It was pretty interesting. And then we saw this movie that I do recommend that was really strange called Coherence. And I saw it on one of those lists of like science fiction movies that you never saw, but I'd say it's more like speculative fiction. And it's kind of like if, let's say you took all the people from the Blair Witch Project, but they lived and they were all in their 30s, but their camera work was similar. And then you had Blake Crouch write a screenplay about them. So what happens is these people are having a dinner party, and there's going to be a comet that passes over, and at the beginning of it, this one woman arrives and she shows how her phone just went and just mysteriously cracked, and she starts talking about these articles she read about weird things that happen when comets pass, and then weird things do happen, and it just gets increasingly weird and unsettling, and it's kind of a low budget with just a small group of people in a house and out in the neighborhood around the house, and it's real weird. So if you like things like Inception and I don't know, just things that mess with your mind, it was good. We liked it. All right, moving on to the books. So I think I've set this angle kind of wrong. So every time I sit up, I cut off my head. So if I disappear, I went up. All right, first of all, I did finish French Braid. I was sort of halfway through on last Friday, and I did finish reading it. It was really, really good. If you do like family drama type books, whether or not you've read Ann Tyler before, if you have read her before, it's one of her better ones. I feel like the last couple books she read were a little off for me. They just were kind of, there wasn't much in there. It was sort of like the beginning of an Ann Tyler book, and then nothing really coalesced. It was a little too cute and frou-frou, but this one was substantial, and I really love the conversations in this book between different members of the family when two people are talking about some other person, and then later on, another two people are talking about that person, and just how in a family your experience of the same person or the same thing can be vastly different. Just the way that two daughters think about their parents and the difference between how the son in that family thinks about them. I would say my only grievances, there was even the woman that I didn't like in the story. I don't really call that a grievance because it was really very interesting, but just there was so many people in this family that there was a couple of kids in the story that got a little bit of airtime, and they seemed like intriguing people, and then there wasn't anything else about them. So I kind of wanted a little bit more of a couple of the characters. But if you do like all the family saga stories like Ann Patchett, Jennifer Hay, Ann Tyler, of course now my mind goes blank, but books like Ask Again Yes or The Most Fun We Ever Had, those kind of books you'll probably like this one. All right, then I read one of my Pride Month selections, which is Loveless by Alice Oseman. It is a novel, although she also writes graphic novels, and she did do her cover art here, and the main characters in the story are the ones who are in color on this cover. And as you can see, they are in a sea of people, maybe at a party, and lots of people are meeting up, kissing, taking pictures and selfies of each other. But, stuck in the crowd is Georgia, looking a little perplexed. Her best friend, Pip, who is a lesbian, who is giving the looks to Rooney, her roommate. And on the back we have Jason, her other best friend, who's a straight guy. And then Sunil, who is the head of the Pride Club at college. And it is about their first year at college. 3 really close friends from high school go off to the same college. And Georgia becomes aware that she is in the minority by having had no romantic experiences or sexual experiences of any type. And she kind of thought she was just sort of running behind and hadn't really met the right person. But she starts to become slowly aware and skirting up to this awareness, stepping back, avoiding it, going around it, trying to, but eventually becoming aware that what her identity truly is asexual and aromantic, meaning that she is not sexually or romantically attracted to other people. And it's really a nice journey to see her learn about what this means and find that it feels like a fit. And she's not happy about it at first. She has to go through some stages because she realizes that she's sad and then she's angry because she's grown up in a society where so much emphasis is put on partnerships and romance and true love and happy endings, which she thinks means you find the right person, you fall in love and live happily ever after. And she doesn't really care if that would mean with a man or a woman, but she just thought that that was what her destiny was, and then she finds out that it isn't. And so she learns about it as she goes, and because it is a young adult book, she makes a bunch of mistakes, handles things poorly, causes dramas within her friendship group, and then has to make amends for some of those mistakes. But the group of friends is very appealing. I thought it rang true for people of her age group. And I also think it's a great book for anybody to read to just learn more about the spectrum of being asexual, because I know that I learned a lot, and so did Georgia in the story, by talking to other people and researching what the different aspects of that might be for different people. So I found it to be really an engaging story, and I learned some things. So I recommend Loveless by Alice Oseman. It was quite charming, and maybe they'll make this into a show as well, like they did with Heartstopper. And then finally, the book that I'm in the midst of right now is Sleepwalk by Dan Shawn. And this is our signed copy that I showed in a haul video where he has put a little illustration. And I'm not going to say much about this at this point, except that it is marvelous. And I don't know, I'm halfway through, so something terrible could happen, but it is bizarre and fantastic, and I will talk more about it after I get to the end. But right now I'm just reading it, and then I'm trying not to go too fast. I stop and I'm just like, oh. So the less said the better about that right now. So that's where I am. I think that's where I was last week as well. I had halfway and 2 finished, so maybe that's about my pace. And I don't have a super concrete plan of what I'm going to read next. I have all of my TBRs and other things floating around, and some books did come in that I ordered. So I have a haul video to make, and I might jump ship and read something out of that pile. I'm leaning towards I know it's not right in here with me. I'm leaning towards reading My Antonia next because I want to participate in a discussion group that's in the classic literature Facebook group that I belong to. So I think that might be my next one, but we shall see. Otherwise, have a great weekend. Let me know what you're reading or if you've read some of these books, and I will be checking in again very soon. Peace out. Bye.